I think it's really important to talk about this because what we've learned about the job search process, and I see people, the way they talk about it, is just simply kind of wrong. It's just not working. And so we're going to highlight common mistakes that you might be making, and also going into actionable steps in terms of what you can do instead. And the reason we talk about it, I mean, it seems obvious, right? But the reason we talk about it really is, 73% of all job seekers say that job hunting is a stressful process. I mean, I personally don't think so, because I've obviously come to love it. But I do see that that's more of an exception, and majority of people do think that it's stressful. And so, but I do know the feeling of getting really frustrated and desperate to some extent, right? To feel like you've kind of done everything, but still you just don't seem to get the result that you're looking for. And, ultimately also understanding how to improve your chances will give you more control over the process. Because I do think one of the frustrating things is that you do feel like you don't have control over this process, right? And definitely not knowing what's going on and what you're doing wrong, and you rarely get any really useful feedback either from the process. I really went from hating interviews. Like I was very scared of them. I was very stressed out about them. And, I went from that process into being completely fascinated and really almost obsessed, to, looking back in the past sort of like 10 years, I pretty much got every job that I wanted, and these are not sort of like random jobs, right? These are really dream jobs, when I look back, and not just my dream, but like a lot of people's dreams too, they were really like hot companies. I have 6 things for you, basically, why you might not be getting more interviews than you could, and what you can do about it in order to get more interviews, okay? That will help you ace your interviews, like do really well in them, or pointing out the reasons why you might not be doing well in them. Okay, so 6 things in total. All right, let's dive in. Mistake number 1 is you may rely too heavily on online applications. And the problem with that is only less than 5% of online applications actually turn into hires. And so, I mean, in order to feel like you've done everything, and you do want to have done everything, especially in this market, you do have to have a very good resume. You do have to apply online. So you do have to do all those things, right? But just know that this is not where you should put all your eggs in this basket, basically, right? Because, just like knowing that it only accounts for a very small part of your potential result. Also, you may have heard, that hiring managers, recruiters, they look at your resume literally for 7 seconds. That's sort of like on average, right? That's the scanning process. Obviously, if they're interested in you, they're going to look at it longer and read it, but the scanning and screening process, it's 7 seconds, right? And so how do you stand out in 7 seconds? There's only so much that you can do. And so all I'm saying is the heavy reliance on online applications, and that comes with also like resume updates and all these things. People focus heavily on this, okay? And this is the mistake number 1. Mistake number 2. So this process of sort of applying. So first of all, you apply online a lot, right? And then you don't get the result that you want. So then now you're a bit more desperate, right? And you want to speed up the process. And so what do? You apply to more roles, you apply to more places, so you amp up your online applications, even though we just said that it's actually not the right path to go. But that's just what right? That's how we've all been taught to handle the job market. And so that's what you do. And then on top of it, what you also do is you diversify the roles. So instead of now just applying for a UX research role, you say that you're also a UX designer, or maybe you are also a bit of a data analyst, actually, or maybe you do a bit of data visualization, and so you apply to some sort of like some kind of front end job as well. And then, you might think like, yeah, but I'm actually not so bad at organizing either. So why don't I also apply to some design program manager kind of roles, and I mean, it seems really intuitive, right? And I've done that. I've definitely done that, sort of like looking at things, thinking, yeah, I could do that. I could probably do that. And this, I couldn't really do, but I need to increase my chance. I'm going to diversify the roles that I'm going to apply to. And that is mistake number 2. And the reason for that is because it takes you to all sort of different places, and it goes into that sort of like quantity over quality thing. It really depletes you. It takes your focus away from where you need to be focusing, and it makes the quality of your applications in the end actually lower than it could have been. Mistake number 3 is that, we all heard about networking and that being important, and it is important, but the problem is nobody has actually told us how to do that. Some people are naturally better at it, but in general, there's also a very specific way of networking in order to, like, networking as part of the job search process. That is also different than just in general expanding your network, for more sort of career growth. I personally did not know anything about it, right? And so when I look back, knowing what I know now, looking back, I basically did everything that you could be doing wrong when it comes to networking. Mistake number 4 is the wrong preparation. I see people spend a lot of time on preparation, or sometimes actually also not a lot of time, to be honest, right? But a lot of people do spend a lot of time and effort into their preparation. And so it's not so much the problem with effort or being lazy or anything like that, but I do see that they do they don't approach it the right way. They don't prepare for actually the right things. Mistake number 5 is when, they also, candidates are very focused on, when clients come to me, they're very focused on sort of like how they might anticipate the questions and how to answer those questions correctly in the interview. And I mean, obviously you shouldn't answer them wrong if there is a right and wrong, but it's, that's not actually what that conversation is about. It is truly a conversation where you let them guide and lead the conversation. That is true. That does not mean that it is sort of like a investigation where you have to answer the questions correctly. That's not what it's there for. Mistake number 6 is that you come out of the conversation and it's not quite clear what the direct value it is that you're going to add to the company. You might be a very impressive candidate, but in the interviewer's mind, it might just be still sort of like, yeah, that was really impressive, but I wonder how exactly they're gonna succeed or do that here, and so if they leave with that question, you didn't do your full job.
So these were the 6 big mistakes I keep seeing people doing over and over again when searching for the next role. I hope you learned something today, and more importantly, I really hope you can apply them directly to your job search. But I do also understand that some of this is going to be a little bit trickier, and it's going to be easier said than done, especially when it comes to things like effective networking to get referrals, effective networking to tap into the hidden job market. Or when it comes to things like how to convey your message, your value, in a way that hiring managers are excited to talk to you. I've helped many others just like you getting over the finishing line much faster and with much, much less drama. So if you just watched this webinar and found it helpful, found it useful, but you still have some questions, then just hop on a call with me and I can tell you exactly what you need to do in order to get the job that you want. You can talk to me directly by going to www.esvpcoaching.com/call. That's it. Talk to you soon. Bye.